Hi, everybody. Hi, everybody. If you just logged on, just a reminder, and my internet's a little laggy tonight, I'm noticing. But just a reminder, I can't see who's here. So if you would just give me a quick shout out that you're here in the comments, I would really appreciate it. I'd love to say hi to you personally. Hi, Marianne. Hi, Jen. It's hot, y'all. Jill, I hear you're on. Jill Shapiro. Hi, Jill. Hi, Debbie. Good to see you, too. If you're just joining us, please give me a quick hi in the comment section if you don't mind. For whatever reason, and I don't know what it is, it could be user error, I'll admit it. I can't see who is here. I see the little eyeball telling me that people are here, but I don't know what your names are. I hear my sister is online. Hi, Jen. Hey, Lori. Do you guys have like dueling computers at your home? Jen Halsworth, hello. I'm just gonna give it a couple more minutes. It is 4:59. Let's just give it a few so people can get on who need to. Hopefully you're all surviving the heat. And hydrating, hydrating, hydrating. Just a couple more minutes. Hope everybody's doing great. It is so hot. I looked at the forecast and I was like, nah, it's not gonna get to that. I was wrong. It is. So there's no sound, Patty, for you? I was just quiet for a second. I'm having a weird um lag. It's like on the camera, my voice is not keeping up with my mouth, which is strange. Patty, let me know if you can hear me now. Okay, so Pete's telling me that the weird delay is just on my end, so hopefully you guys aren't seeing the glitch in the matrix I'm experiencing right now. So it is 5 o'clock, so I'll just go ahead and kind of get started a little bit here. If you haven't been to a live before, let me just give you, great, yay, Patty. If you haven't been to a live before, let me just give you some quick rules of the road, just so we can make this as successful as possible. I didn't say it last time, but I will say it this time. These videos will be posted on YouTube for our neighbors and friends who do not experience the joy of Facebook. So it's going to sound a little clunky when I'm reading your questions, but because the comments won't be on YouTube, I want to make sure that any future viewers will be able to understand the context. Also, this video will be left up on our Facebook page for you to review later, or for people who just couldn't make it on tonight. It will be there. You should feel free to share from your Facebook page that you are not on this live right now. I would love it if we can reach as many people as possible so they can get their questions answered. That's what this is about. Um, as I said in my last live, I am a mom of 3. I also have 2 dogs and 3 cats and several reptiles. So if you see anything or hear anything in the background that sounds a little crazy, that's what's going on. They are currently watching Harry Potter and thinking about dinner. So hopefully we'll have a little bit of peace and quiet here so we can talk. Tonight's live at 5 at a suggestion of, I believe it was Maria at the last live at 5, made a suggestion that she would like to talk water sewer rates, and I love to talk about water and sewer. So this live will be dedicated to water sewer. However, if you come up with a question that isn't related to water sewer and you really feel the need to ask me, please do so. Don't think that you have to, that this all has to be about water and sewer. So, with that being said, I'd be happy to take your questions. I'm proposing a pretty aggressive idea that I haven't heard from any of the candidates who've been elected in a while. And that is, it's time to roll back our water sewer rates. Our water sewer rates were increased in 2009 when the city was in a completely different financial position. As you guys probably remember, 2009 was a pretty rough year for the economy nationwide, which continued basically until 2011. The city was facing some pretty enormous shortfalls, especially when it comes to the beach plant. The city was in the rears to the tune of about $4 million. And we had just built a Northwest sewer treatment plant on bonds. So that most of that cost was passed on to homeowners in Trilogy, which you're still paying for today. They tried to pass the sales tax initiative. It was called Measure A. It failed soundly in 2009, and the council decided that what they would do is they would pass on basically the cost of bailing out the city onto ratepayers for the water and sewer system. We could argue about the wiseness of that decision all day long, but the reality of it is it happened. It's done. That's old news. So what happened since then? So 2009, they did a really comprehensive rate study with an outside agency that is really great. And I'm actually going to link it in the comments to the city's website because it is there and available for you to read. And one of the biggest takeaways from that rate study was that they were recommending that here's what you do in order to get financially stable, and here's what you do after that. And they asked for the rate study. They suggested that the rate study be reviewed after 5 years to see if it was still feasible or if it could be scaled back or it needed to be increased. Were we meeting the objectives with the rate increase? So that would have put us at, let's see, 2009, 2010, 2011, 2012, 2013. It didn't happen in 2013. The city decided in 2011, 3 years early, to commission a study which was basically Veolia, who is the contract provider for the sewer plants that we currently have, and some city representatives, and there were some stakeholders involved in the conversation, and they took a look basically at the rates and how we were doing financially and was it effective and those kinds of things. That particular study decided that actually what we really needed to do was not look at the water sewer rates until June of 2019. So even if we accept their with their findings, which I would argue that they're a little bit biased, we should have started seeing some rate rollback in June of 2019. We haven't. Here we are, August of 2020, and we're still paying the same amount. We're going to talk about some boring maybe things, and we're going to be talking about some fund balances because I think a lot of people don't understand where their water and sewer, once you've written your check and you've dropped it off at City Hall or paid online, where does that money actually go? So we're basically looking at essentially, when it comes to sewer, we're basically looking at 2 enterprise funds. The enterprise funds are dedicated to the individual sewer plants. So you've got the Northwest plant, which that takes all the sewage from Trilogy. And then you have the Beach plant, which is taking all the sewage from basically Core. A little bit down River Road, um, St. Francis. I think it takes some of the airport road sewage. So that's all going to the Beach plant. Now, I'm just gonna. Are you all sitting down? I'm gonna tell you what the fund balances are for the Northwest sewer treatment plant and for the Beach plant. I have to put on my glasses because I'm old. So as of June 30th, 2020, which is when we did our new budget for the year, the fund balances are as follows. For the beach facility, the fund balance was $2,623,750. The fund balance for the Northwest treatment plant was $2,566,365. That's a lot. If you look at the 2011 study that was commissioned by the City Council, they suggested, and as well as the 2009 study suggested, that the city needed to keep 3 months of operation costs in those enterprise funds as a just in case. I think that's fiscally very intelligent. I think that's super smart. So looking at operational costs, if you go to the budget as well, and you guys, I will link the I'll link the current city budget in the comments as well, so you guys can take a look at it. I will tell you it's very cumbersome. It's very long. You really have to hunt and peck for details. But if you look at the operating costs for the Northwest Sewer Treatment Plant, last year, for contract services, which is to Veolia, they are the ones who operate our sewer treatment plants, we paid $729,361 for the year. If you look at the beach plant, that's going to be more because that is a more antiquated system. The beach plant is $1,030,000 basically. So if you take those two numbers, combine them, we're looking at a per year cost for contract services for our Northwest plant for the whole year, $1.75 million. So in all actuality, we've got double the annual cost of operating both plants in our enterprise funds. Not 3 months worth. We've got a whole year worth plus some extra. So what are we using the funds for? What's the extra? So the extra, near as I can tell on the budget, and I will admit when I'm wrong, so if somebody wants to jump on and tell me that I am, I'm happy to hear it. Near as I can tell from the budget, we're using the extra money for capital improvement projects. Now, we can argue all day long about the merits of capital improvement projects. Some of them are absolutely worthwhile. If you live in Core Rio Vista, you know how often we have water main breaks. We used to have a lot of sewer main breaks, line breaks, because they were old clay pipe that absolutely needed to get upgraded. And for the most part, we've done an extraordinary job doing that. If you look at the budget, you'll see a really cool map which shows you which lines are left to do. So there definitely is going to be some outlay to get those things updated. I'm not sure that buying a new pickup truck should be a capital improvement project that comes out of the water sewer enterprise funds. I'm not sure that a study at the tune of $50,000 is the greatest expenditure to figure out if we have any more area that we could drill wells. So, that's a conversation that absolutely needs to happen. But the truth of it is, we're collecting more money than we're spending. And when you give government more money than they can spend, we all know what happens. And it's happening on the backs of ratepayers. Patty, I'm totally going to get into the beach plant too. So, you can argue, is it legal? Is it not legal? You can argue that till you're blue in the face, Prop 218, etc. But the truth of it is, it's not moral. We have seniors in our community and families in our community that live paycheck to paycheck, who are on fixed income and who are maybe moved here from a community that had a much lower water sewer rate because That's pretty much almost everywhere. And we're putting an incredible financial burden on these folks to pay into what has essentially become a special projects slush fund. Now, let's talk about the beach plant. I'm going to talk a lot. I'm sorry, guys. Let's talk about the beach plant. So the beach plant absolutely is on its last legs. That thing is old. It's kind of like the original sewer plant, I think. The state of California has indicated that we need to shut that puppy down. Now, I've been hearing that it was going to be imminently shut down by the state 5 years ago. I have heard it was going to be imminently shut down in the next 6 months. I've heard lots of stories about what the state's going to do in regards to the beach sewer plant. Listen, we have a brand new sparkly sewer plant up the hill at Northwest, and there's absolutely no reason that the sewage can't be going there, except that it's going to cost a lot of money. I'm not going to mince words with you guys, and I'm not going to say it's going to be easy. It is absolutely not going to be easy to close down the beach plant. But this has been a project that's been kicked down the road for I don't know how long. Oh, well, somebody else will take care of it. Somebody else will do it. And we don't even know how much it's going to cost. I've heard numbers thrown out that, it's going to be $35 million. I've heard comments that, oh, no, it's not going to be nearly that much. We've never actually found out how much it's going to cost and set the goal and said, as a city, in 10 years, we're decommissioning the beach sewer plant. And all of the sewer in Rio Vista is going to go up the hill to the Northwest Sewer Treatment Plant. Yes, it is on environmental waivers. You are correct, Patty. So these two things that I'm saying to you sound a little incompatible, right? I'm telling you I'm going to lower your water sewer rates and we're going to take away the city's slush fund when we could be using that money to decommission the beach plant, right? So those two things don't make a lot of sense, right? Well, the truth of it is, this is a citizen's decision about how money is spent. They couldn't get a sales tax to pay for the budget shortfall on the water sewer, so they passed it on to you as ratepayers. That's not right. That's not how this works. The rate you pay for your water and sewer should be how much it costs the city to operate your water and sewer. The city has no business making money off the backs of your water sewer bill. I don't think the city's in the business of making money. I mean, I could be wrong. So if we're going to do this ambitious goal about shutting down the beach plant, we're going to have take some steps, and we're going to have to develop a strategic plan. We can't just shoot in the dark. And when the time comes and we know how much it's going to cost, we're going to go to the taxpayer and we're going to ask them for it. It will never be on your water sewer bill. That's ridiculous. You didn't ask for the beach plant to be decommissioned. You didn't ask for the city to kick this down the road for the last 20 years. It's not your fault. Why should you pay it on your water sewer bill? So, these are some pretty bold ideas I'm talking about here, but really it's about you. It's not about the city. It's about how do you pay for your groceries one month. I'm totally honest with you guys, and this is why I'm so fired up about this. I'm very, very blessed. You see behind me, I have this really nice house. I have a husband with a very good job, but it wasn't always that way. And I'll just tell you, I've had my water and sewer shut off 3 times since I've lived in Rio Vista because I couldn't afford it. It was, do I buy milk for my kids? And do we have dinner tonight? Or do I pay my water bill? I'm just keeping it real. And I know I'm not the only one. I'm in a much better position financially right now, and it's not a worry that I have. But I know for a lot of our citizens, it absolutely is. So we've got to fix it. And it's going to take big, bold, aggressive ideas to do it. I want to touch on water quality, but let's talk about this first. If anybody has any questions about water and poop, I'd be happy to take your poop questions. My dogs are wrestling in the background, so if you hear that, that's what's going on. I'm going to go back and look at comments a little bit. Yeah, the beach plant definitely is on its last legs. That's exactly right, Patty. It is being used for extra funds. It's actually a slush fund. It's actually really kind of surprising how obvious it is in the budget. Yes, it is on environmental waivers. Shea owns the connection rights. Yeah, but the city owns the plant. So I think that there's an argument to be made there. The goal was always, when Trilogy was built, the goal was always to connect all of Rio Vista to the Northwest plant. Because even back in 2008 or 7, when Trilogy was building out and the Northwest became, um, you know, the Northwest Sewer Treatment Plant was connected to Trilogy, the plan was always to expand the facility to include Core Rio Vista. So, and Shay knew that too. So, is the beach plant in danger of spillage into the river? I do not believe so, Lori. I think the problem with the beach plant is that it can't handle. So the sewage kind of goes through a weird process. I actually know more about sewage now than I thought I ever wanted to know. So, like at the Northwest plant, this is a great example. It goes to the Northwest plant, it goes through a filtration system. It actually gets to the point where it is potable water. Purple pipe, we'll talk about that in a minute. It actually becomes non-potable water. You can't drink it, but you can water your plants with it. But that's how many filtration systems it goes through at the Northwest sewer plant. And then the solid waste is put out into those greenhouses. You see those greenhouses that are sitting out there? I always wondered what those were. Well, that's where they put the solid waste to dry. Once that dries, it goes to the landfill. Now, the beach plant, because of its age and because of its, it's been technologically outmatched by the Northwest plant. It can't do all the fancy things that the Northwest plant does. Now, it is not so bad that we have a pending environmental disaster on our hands. I do not believe. However, are we treating our sewage out of that plant in the most efficient way? No. If we're trucking it to the Northwest plant in order for it to go on the drying racks in the greenhouses, that doesn't make a lot of sense economically. So I think it's more of just a lag behind in technology. I really don't believe, Lori, that it is a safety issue. But the state of California has some pretty high standards about how you're supposed to deal with sewage in this state, and the beach plant isn't making it, and it's a product of its age, honestly. Patty says, I would love to see a written overview about the issues with the sewage plants. I think that's a great idea. And I think when I'm your mayor, and I've actually empowered the wastewater sewer committee and added a few members and put on some stakeholders and a civil engineer, I think that's absolutely something the city council should ask for. And it should be posted on the city's website, and you all should know about it. You're paying a lot of money towards the sewage in this town, and we should be accountable to you to explain to you what's going on. You shouldn't have to dig through a 500-page budget to find out. Thanks, Patty, for the question. Thanks, Lori, for the question. I didn't read it. I'm sorry to my YouTube viewers. I already forgot my own rule. If you weren't here at the beginning of the live, this will be available on YouTube also tonight. So I will be trying to remember to ask the questions out loud since the comments will not be there. I want it to make sense to people who are watching it later. I know not everybody's on Facebook, so I wanted to make sure that we had a way to reach people in another way. Any other questions about sewage? I know it's really complicated, and it's totally not. Did I read it, Marianne? Thank you. I know it's complicated, and I know it's not a sexy issue. Like, this isn't gonna get a lot of people excited, but it really is something that I'm passionate about. I think, government should be accountable to the people who have put them there, and to say that, we need to keep your water sewer rates the same while they're sitting on $4 million balance in the enterprise funds. That's, to me, kind of hard to justify. I also wish Fred was on here. Fred doesn't do Facebook. I was, COVID. I actually thought about inviting him over to my house. Thank you, Marianne, for saying I wish Fred was on here. I was actually going to invite Fred to my house to sit next to me and do this with me, but then COVID. So Fred Kogler is absolutely somebody who should be sitting on a wastewater and sewer steering committee, and he has a wealth of knowledge, and I respect him a great deal. And so he definitely should be brought in on all the conversations. Marianne asked you we're going to talk about the purple tube. Yeah, I'd be happy to talk about the purple tube. So, for those of you who don't live in Trilogy, you probably don't know about the purple pipe. You may have heard something about it, but so underneath Trilogy is a series of purple water pipes that are not being used and are dry, and what? So let me tell you what the purple pipes were for. I believe that the purple pipes were for non-potable water to water the golf course and common areas in Trilogy. It was a great idea. And it's super low impact on our environment. It gives us something to do with the water that's coming out of the Northwest plant, which is currently going in the river. It is that safe, by the way. The water, once it's filtrated through the sewer system, the treatment system is so safe it can go right back into the Sacramento River. So why couldn't it be watering our golf course? I can't imagine what the water bill is to the Trilogy HOA watering your golf course with metered water. Patty, you're telling me that Shay ripped out the purple pipe? Because last I heard, the purple pipe is still there. Totally willing to admit I could be wrong on that. I'm going to have to dig a little further, and probably the person I need to talk to about that is Lois O'Sullivan. So let me get with Lois and find out if she can go out with her shovel and find some purple pipe for me. You were told recently it can be reconnected by Trilogy. Okay, so the pipes are still in the ground, but the system isn't there anymore. Just a big effing section is gone. Um, so you definitely have a vested interest in Trilogy as now. I was going with big effing, Patty, not big section. Um, it's possible there are houses on top of that piping. However, Sue Clark asked, could there be houses on top of that piping, the purple pipe? It's totally possible. However, I will tell you that from everything that I've seen, the expansion of Trilogy into the newer homes, which are over on Eagle Point Village, that was always planned to be houses. It was never planned to be anything else. So I unless they did take out a big section. Okay, that's news to me, but not surprising. Why keep it if you're not using it? So it is. It's an HOA issue, you guys, and I don't know if the issue was, they couldn't figure out how to get the water from the Northwest plant to the non-potable water line, the purple pipe. I don't know if that was the reasoning. If I'm living in Liberty right now, I'm wondering why they aren't using non-potable water on all their landscaping that's coming out there for their common spaces. So really, it feels like a waste, honestly, of perfectly good non-potable water to just flush it down the Sacramento River. So let me get some more information on Purple Pipe, because I did not know that they had taken out a big section. Do you know where the section was they took out? I'm guessing it's by the new homes. Yeah, possibly by the driving range. Okay, that makes no sense at all. Why would they do that? They didn't put any. Okay, I don't know. I don't know. What else, you guys? What else do you want to talk about? If you don't have any other questions on sewer and purple pipe, I'd be more than happy to talk about water quality. Okay, I'm going to talk about water quality. So I know a lot of new residents, when they come to Rio Vista, when they move here, you know it the first time you take a shower. Ooh, our water's weird. It's chlorinated, so it does have an odor. Sometimes it's brown. If you are on Nextdoor and you've seen the pictures of Bob Coons's water filtration, his water filters that he just changed, if you saw those, you would know we've got some brown, strange water here. So the city is required every year to give you an update on testing and what they found in our water and if there's anything that you should be alarmed about. I will tell you that the city, according to their tests, does show that our water is not hard. It does rate high on the aggressiveness scale. Now, I have no idea what goes into how they determine if water is aggressive or not. I don't know what that calculation looks like, but we do have aggressive water. Um, and, um, we've got arsenic. So let's talk arsenic. Because our water is, we are on a well water system. The city operates 8 wells, some of which are blended in order to decrease the arsenic in the water, and some of which come straight out of the well and, are treated for your, yes. It's actually, Patty says lots of dissolved solids and a little bit of arsenic. It's actually higher than you think on the arsenic. So according to the last report, which is also on the website, which was February 20th of 2020. So we are due for our next report February-ish of 2021. The arsenic level was at a 9 parts per million. The maximum contaminant level, I'm sorry, I'm reading my notes. The maximum contaminant level, or MCL, is a 10. So we are just one measly point away from having exceeded the maximum contaminant level on arsenic. There was a discussion a few years ago about a arsenic filtration system that the city was thinking about employing. That was estimated to cost about $3 million. They seem to think that they have mitigated the issue by blending wells together. So you take a well that is producing basically no arsenic and you put it with water from a well that is high in arsenic. Well, it averages out. You get an acceptable level of arsenic. I'm not sure there's such a thing as acceptable level of arsenic. The state of California has some pretty strict water quality requirements. We are technically meeting them. I've never been the kind of person who said, let's just do the bare minimum, though. I mean, let's just, we'll just go ahead and meet the standard. I'm not sure that we can't exceed the standard. Boron is another one of those wonderful things that they find in our water. The notification level, so that's the level that the state of California tells you if you have gone above this level, you have to notify the people who drink your water that you have. It doesn't say you have to do anything about it, but you do have to notify us. We should have been notified last year. I don't know if we were because I don't remember. But the notification level for the state of California is 1, and excuse me, they detected 1.1 levels of boron in our water. Now, boron causes cancer in fetal tissue of rats. I don't know that there's ever been any study on humans, but it does cause cancer in rats. So, maybe that's not one of those things where we just want to go with the bare minimum on that. I don't know. So it's, everything that's occurring in our water is absolutely naturally occurring, chemicals and levels of, things. Arsenic is a naturally occurring thing that comes off of orchards and, grazing lands, and that's how it gets in the water. It goes through the dirt and it goes into the well, and then bam, you've got arsenic. And so it's nobody's fault that we have arsenic, but it's the hand we've been dealt. So I think we need to take another look at how we're addressing the arsenic issue in a more permanent way than is just taking a few wells and blending them together and seeing what comes out. So that's definitely going to be on the priority schedule. Excuse me. For the committee that we're going to put together to address not just the water sewer rates, but I want them to look at water quality as well, especially with more people moving to Rio Vista. I don't want their first experience turning on the faucet as being, ooh, what is this water? I drink filtered water. Everybody I know drinks filtered water. However, I will tell you, I grew up in this town and I drink straight out of the tap and the hose. So, it's complicated, and but it's definitely something we need to look at. It needs to be on the radar on a consistent basis. We should be getting reports from the yeah, thank you, Amanda. I also love the idea of better filtration. Um, you know, for the city to put out a report every year is great, and that's what they're legally required to do. But that doesn't mean that they couldn't be making reports to city council on at least a quarterly basis to let us know what their testing results are showing. You know, are we seeing a trend in our water system where we're getting more arsenic in our water? Um, or is this just an abnormality because of the season and global warming? I don't know. So, and we don't know because the reports only happen once a year. Any other questions about water quality? Nobody loves our water. Nobody. I mean, maybe somebody drinks it. I don't. I don't think anybody is like running out and trying to bottle Rio Vista water and sell it at the grocery store. Okay. If there's no more questions about water and sewer, did I miss any? Let me go back. Oh, Marianne says, what should our rate be? I have no idea. I will never tell you that I know something when I don't. And that's why, and if you ask somebody, what should our water rate be, sewer rate be, and they give you an answer, don't believe them. This is going to take a civil engineer. It's going to take Fred Kogler. It's going to take ratepayers. It's going to take city staff. It is going to take an extremely large amount of work looking at how we're spending money on our sewer treatment plants, how we can do it better, how we can budget costs better, what a capital improvement project is and what it isn't. Um, it's going to take a lot of study, as it should, to come up with what that magical number is. But I can tell you right now, it's pretty plain to me that we're collecting too much. Does that answer your question, Marianne? So I'm happy to take, we've only been at this for 37 minutes. Last week, I think we went 45. I'm happy to keep going as long as you guys have questions. And again, if you weren't here at the beginning of the live, I made the comment, still true. You don't have to ask me about water, sewer. I'll take questions about anything. Thanks, Marianne. Uh, we talked about a lot at the last live, and if you haven't had a chance to watch it, please do. We talked about some overarching themes of my campaign and the vision for moving Rio Vista forward. Tonight, I really wanted to focus on one topic, and I promise you 38 minutes was not enough. We could probably sit here and have a 4 or 5 hour conversation about water and sewer, and I could bring out charts and graphs, and you could look at things like this, and it's a lot. It's complicated. I'm not going to act like it isn't. I can't. There will be no waving of a magic wand. That's not what this is. Anything is going to be. It's going to take work. I'm the one to do it. I'm motivated. Any other questions about anything else, you guys? If you let me off early, I'm going to go eat extra dinner, and I have gained the COVID 50. I need to go for a walk. Thanks, Patty. Hey, so the 3 takeaways that I'm going to give you guys tonight is hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. Check on your neighbors. Super hot for the next week or so. We have people living in our community either yeah, taking the slush fund away would be really nice. I agree. We've got neighbors living in our community who either don't have air conditioning or are too financially strapped to turn theirs on. Please be conscious of your neighbors. If you don't hear, I said this on Nextdoor today. Yes, Lori, it has. Hold on, I'm going to get to you. I said on Nextdoor today, and I'll say it to you guys now. If you go outside for some reason, like you're watering a plant, make sure you hydrate them too. And you don't hear the air conditioning running at your neighbor's house, just throw on your mask, go knock on the door, make sure everything's okay. Rio Vista doesn't have a cooling station right now because of COVID, and we've got some vulnerable population. And I would hate to see somebody have a medical episode because of the heat. So hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. Check on your neighbors. Lori says, has our little post office been impacted by the mail slowdown? I'm going to say yes. I don't know about you all, but I'm getting my mail later and later every day. Some days not at all. It's not their fault. 100%. The mail carriers who work at the city post office are stressed out and overworked. And having personally known one, I know somebody in town who is a postal worker here in town. It's a very stressful time for them. They have had people who have left and the positions haven't been replaced. So they are working on kind of a skeleton crew. So be patient with your mail person. That being said, Solano County Register of Voters is expecting to have their ballots in the mail by the 14th of September. September, y'all. So even if the mail is slow, you're going to get your ballot in the mail the first week of October. And I can't say this enough. Vote early if you can. If you are not somebody who wants to go into the polling place like I am, I will be in the polling place on November 3rd. It's just my tradition. But if you're going to choose to vote by mail for safety reasons or for whatever reason, that's a legitimate choice. But please return your ballot as early as you possibly feel comfortable doing. And Lori, hold on. So there will be a drop box starting in September. There'll be a drop box for your ballot at the River Delta Unified School District office, which is at 255 Montezuma Street in Rio Vista. What's that? I believe it's starting like the second week in September. I could be wrong. Also, on election day, if you've held onto your ballot that long, don't put it in the mail. Don't postmark it on November 3rd. Go to a drop box at a polling location. Polling locations in Rio Vista will be located at the Youth Center on Main Street, where it is, and also at Trilogy at the clubhouse, I believe. So if you've waited till November 3rd, I do not recommend putting it in the mail. Your ballot will be null and void after 17 days if it doesn't get to the destination it's supposed to get to in 17 days. So vote like your life depended on it. Yes, Patty. So Patty said, anyone who wants to come to a lawn meeting, let us know. So what's Patty talking about? If you haven't heard me say it yet, I will be doing what I'm calling listening on the lawn sessions. So what that looks like is you kind of give me your front yard, your driveway, your square up sidewalk, whatever that is, so I can set up a chair and you invite some of your friends, as many as you can safely socially distance. 6 feet apart. Everybody has to wear a mask. And I'll talk a little bit like I love to do. And I absolutely would take face-to-face questions. I miss people desperately. I want to be face-to-face with you guys. So if you're interested in either hosting a listening on the lawn session or attending one, we will be doing this in Trilogy and in Liberty. And there's some plans in the works to maybe do some in Core. So if you're interested in hosting or you're interested in attending, you can either email me at emily@goforgollinger.com, or you can email Patty, and Patty is going to post her email in the comments right now because I'm not going to remember it. I think it's Max Curie. So shoot me an email and we'll get y'all situated. Lori asked, is the post office in danger of being closed? The one in Rio Vista. Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, Isleton still has an operational post office. And Isleton has a population of 700 people. So I think as long as that post office is okay, I think we're going to be okay. Now, if we're starting to see some changes with the small rural post offices in California, we may want to get concerned. We absolutely need a local post office. Every time I've been in the post office, there's been about 10 people in line. So they absolutely are doing a business there, and they stay plenty busy. So if I hear of anything coming down the line, I'll certainly be first to let you guys know. But I think at this point we're safe. Where we're seeing primarily most of the cuts is they're not necessarily closing down post offices, but they are reducing staff. And they are pulling out drop boxes I saw as well. So the blue things where you put your mail. Can we drive to Fairfield to drop off our ballot at the Solano County Registrar? Marianne asked. You absolutely can. So the Solano County Registrar, if you don't know where that is, I believe it's on Texas. There is currently nobody staffing the lobby at the Solano County Registrar because due to COVID, but there are people there, and I have been told there will be a box. Now, there will also be some drive-through locations available for you to hand your ballot through your driver window. Those, unfortunately, will only be in Fairfield and Vallejo. I'd be more than happy to get you those details, and I'll put them on my website. Because that's really convenient because you can drive through and just check it out the window at somebody. Much easier. So there's lots of opportunity this time around to get your ballot back in. No excuses, y'all. You're going to vote. Patty's email address, if you need it, if you're like on YouTube right now and can't see the comments, Patty Harrington's email is maxcurie@hotmail.com. That's maxcurie@hotmail.com. Or you can call her or text her. She's actually a really great texter. 925-786-6698. Thank you, Mary Ann. It is on Texas.
Bruce Springer's trying to ask me a question, but he can't figure out how to get on.
So Bruce Springer's trying to ask me a question, but he can't figure out how to get on. Who can text?
He's messaged. He's commented on several posts and emailed, but he's not emailing the questions. So I just wanted to let you know that he's trying.
Can somebody shoot Bruce a text if you have him in your phone? I do not. Bruce Springer is trying to ask me a question, but he can't get on for some reason. Is Sue Clark on?
Sue was on, I think.
Bruce, if you're watching and you're trying to shoot me a question, you can just you want to text me? My number is, I'll just give out my number, y'all. That's how transparent I am. It's 209-224-1615. You can shoot me a text right now if you want to get a question through. Y'all, we're at 47 minutes. Yay. Anything else you guys want to ask? And anybody got any suggestions for what, I saw that, Patty, but I'm not sure Sue's still on. Anybody have any suggestions about what you want to talk about next week? I know what I want to talk about, but it's not going to be as fun as tonight was. No suggestions? Then I'm just going to go with my plan, which is we're going to talk about the general plan next week. I'm not going to give you homework until you got to go online and read the thing because it's long. But we will probably try to get a few snapshots for you guys to see, or I can just hold up a piece of paper, about some of the takeaways from the general plan. And you know what, Marianne, that's perfect. We'll talk about the business park too. So next week we'll talk about general plan and business park. Those two things actually go hand in hand nicely. Hi, Sue. Did you text Bruce? Tourism ideas, blighted properties, vacancy, tax schools. Sure. This is all great. I would like, if you guys are agreeable, next week I'd really love to talk about general plan. The thing about the general plan is, and this is something that I believe I said on my website. If I didn't, I should have. So the general plan checks a lot of boxes. Is that his number, Sue? So the general plan checks a lot of numbers in that, it answers a lot of questions about what we want Rio Vista to look like in 5 years. How do we want the business park to look? How do we, you're welcome, Marianne. I love them. How do we want the business park to look? How do we want our investment in schools to look? How do we want our blighted properties to look? This is all related. This is all general plan. And if you've read the old general plan, if you went down to the museum and checked it out, because it's that old, and handled it with the white gloves, because it's an ancient document, you'll know that it's actually a pretty comprehensive, pretty well thought out document that answered a lot of questions about what the vision of Rio Vista was. It's just extremely out of date. No, mine, Sue, is 209-224-1615. 1615. Did you get that, Sue? So let's, I'm going to commit. We're going to talk about general plan next week. And absolutely, we're going to hit on the business park ideas. We're going to hit on tourism, blighted properties, schools. What do we do to revitalize our Main Street? All of that is going to come into play when we talk about it. So come with your questions. Do a little homework if you want. You don't have to. You aren't getting graded. This is absolutely, thank you, Marianne. These are great. Thank you so much for doing this. She says, I agree. This is fun. I really enjoy it. I like people. So, and I like you guys. So, we've doubled our numbers on this live from what we had last Friday. Let's double them again for next Friday. So if you guys want to share with all your friends on Facebook that these are happening, I would love it. The more people that I can connect with, to get this message out about what Rio Vista is going to look like come January. I want to make sure voters are informed on their choices. And the only way to get informed is to hear it from the candidate's mouth. This is Henry. I think I introduced you at the last live. I'm going the wrong way. I'm reversed. This is my middle child, Henry. We, how'd the homeschooling moms do? I rocked it. It was a good week. Thank you. Big shout out if we have any teachers on right now. Big shout out to our teachers. Big shout out to our district, our staff of our schools. Bang up job, you guys. You pulled it off. It was a great week. All right. I still haven't heard from him. Wait. Yeah, I still haven't heard from him. So, why don't you email me at emily@goforgollinger.com, or if you can keep the question until next week, and we can figure out how to get you on live so you can ask it live. I'm happy to do that too. Or if you want to email it to me and I can read it, whatever works best for you, Bruce. That's all I have for you guys tonight. If you don't have any last minute questions, I'm going to sign off and feed these munchkins dinner. Thank you, Sue. I appreciate you. I appreciate your dedication too to your projects. Flying puppies all over the place. I'm jealous of your job. Any other questions, guys? Last chance until next Friday. All right, you all. Good night. Have a great weekend with your family. Stay cool. Hydrate. Check on your neighbors. The mayor says so. Good night, you guys.
Yeah, he commented on last week's video. He commented on a post, and he sent an email. He just couldn't